All right. Well, uh, this is another edition of All Hell No. I'm minding my business and then flashing across the YouTube algorithms is a ooh, new video by Nas X. So the title of this All Hell No is the misrepresentation of the alphabets. So, Nas X's video is getting a lot of controversy because of his content. Um, I couldn't even watch it, to be honest. I saw a clip of it and was like, oh, hell no, I just can't do it. And just the little 10-second clip I saw was just way too much. So I'm just going to say this, and I have been saying this for years to the gay and lesbian community, gay, lesbian, transgender questioning community. I have said this for years. Everybody deserves respect for their choices. Everybody deserves to be loved for who they are. That's something that should not need to be legislated because you have an inherent birthright to that. I've also said that I have seen where that community is being taken advantage of. You're being used as a scapegoat to push a narrative. And I don't think many of you see that. You're being used as a narrative that I don't think at the end of the day you're going to want to be tied to. Okay, I see a lot of political folks riding off of your back for their particular purposes. And I think it ultimately will backfire. So I'm going to say this, like I have always said. I think you all need to be very careful. And I also think you need to make sure that whom you have representing your narrative as a community is indeed what you want. Because as hard as you all fight for your rights, as a close knit of a group that you are, which I do admire, I don't think ultimately what you're fighting for, and maybe part of what you're fighting for is for Nas X material. But I'm just here to tell you that it's going to backfire. And here's my reasoning why. You know, being someone who grew up where hip hop was in its infancy and it was fresh and it was new and it had a lot of variety. You had the hard hitting hip hop that really told what was going on in the hood. And then you had the fun hip hop, and then you had the dancing partying hip hop. And then we even had like the conscious hip hop. And then all of a sudden, we had something new come in called gangster rap. That although it told a grittier side of what was going on in LA, it was a lot more raw and in your face. And then you had the 2 Live Crew come in that was really raw and gritty from a sexual perspective. And then you had the Little Kims come in with the raw women sexuality. And what started to happen in the hip hop community is all the rest of the variations that we had in hip hop. So, meaning the fun, the partying, the dancing, the clean, where you could feel good about it, the conscious rap, where it was also excellent, great music, but told a hard-hitting message. It was gone. It was gone literally. It seems like the blink of an eye. But it really wasn't the blink of an eye, because the other things that came into play, the gangster rap, the raw sexuality, the putting women's raw sexuality out there in the forefront, it totally changed hip hop. And then what was seen around the world, instead of the hip hop in its infancy, where we had the Public Enemies, where we had even like the Wu-Tang Clan, it was gone. It was gone. So what became the narrative of hip hop was really killing and women whoring, using their bodies to whore. We're talking around the world. That's the narrative that's associated. And now we can't even call it hip hop. Those of us of a certain age, we don't call it hip hop. And now it's so bad, we really don't even want to call it rap. We really don't want to be associated with it. So the art form, it changed drastically, and it didn't change for the better. The purity is lost. So that's what I feel is happening to the gay and lesbian community. I think that is what you're witnessing. Now, yes, I must say, no, I'm not gay. No, I'm not a lesbian. No, I'm not in that community. So what I say, probably, yeah, take it with a grain of salt. I am just here merely to give my opinion that what I see, who you have representing you, is very, very dangerous. And all of the, decades of gains that you have made, it's going to very much taint it if your community does not stand up and make sure that you're represented well. Yes, there's a time and a place for whatever Nas put out. There is a medium for that. But should that medium be mainstream, that's going around the world, representing your community? And on top of that, the melanated gay and lesbian and trans community. So I directly look at that as a correlation to what happened to hip hop. Me as a melanated woman that grew up in the hip hop era, it was no sense of pride for me to see the images of melanated women go across the globe in a manner of a whore. That's not what hip hop represented. It represented telling the message of what was going on in the neighborhoods and coming out of the neighborhoods as a success, or while you're in the neighborhood, making the best that you can in that situation, having a good time with your friends, having raw creativity. It gives me no pride as a melanated woman to see young melanated women portrayed in that way, in the fashion of the whore mentality across the world. So, gay, lesbian, trans community, you can take it for what it's worth. You can totally throw what the hell I have to say out the window. But I'm just telling you from experience, from someone who was there at the beginning as a listener of the hip hop community, and how I felt and what it brought, and how my friends felt. I mean, the Run DMCs, it was just so special, so magical. And to see it decline to the point where we don't have that diversity today, it literally breaks my heart. And us as consumers of that material, of that art, we should have done a better job and not supported the decline. So, take it for what it's worth. I am just telling you what I see, and it's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. And quite frankly, it is very much uncomfortable, and it is very much embarrassing. That's the same way I feel about current music in what they're calling rap going across the world. I am seeing the exact same pattern with the LGBTQ community. Now, if that's how you want to represent yourself, that's fine. But just understand the consequences that go with it and the damage that it will do. So, with that said, I wish everyone well. You all have a happy Saturday, and peace and love.